Summary of Life is a Dream by Pedro Calderón de la Barca. Rosara's hippogriff lands suddenly as she and her helper, Clarn, are high in the air over an unknown mountain range. After stepping off the winged beast while dressed as a man, Rosara finds herself in an unfamiliar location and is unsure of her surroundings. She's sad and hopeless, but she knows that fate has led her to this strange place. Rosara says that Poland hasn't been nice to her so far, and she sees an old building up a road through the woods. Light is coming in through an open door, and Rosara and Clarn can hear chains clanking and sad cries from inside. As they get closer, Rosara feels very sorry for the guy who is crying, so they stop outside to listen to him. The man, who is dressed in animal clothes like a wild beast, says his only crime is being born, which is something everyone is guilty of. Still, the man, whose name is Segismundo, has less freedom than any other person or animal. His jailer, Clotaldo, is the only person he can talk to about the outside world. Segismundo realizes all of a sudden that Rosara and Clarn are there and asks who they are. He grabs Rosara, who is scared, and threatens to kill her. But when Rosara says she is just a sad person looking for comfort, Segismundo starts to feel sorry for her. Deep inside the jail, they hear Clotaldo and a group of guards. Clotaldo tells the guards to kill the attackers right away. As Clotaldo and the guards get closer, Rosara and Clarn beg for their lives and do as they are told and hand over their guns. When Rosara gives Clotaldo her sword, he knows it right away. He had left the same sword in Muscovy with Violante, the mother of his unborn son, so that the boy could use it to find his father when he was older. When Clotaldo finds out that Rosara, who he thinks is a guy, is actually his son, he knows he can't kill them, even if that means King Basilio will kill Clotaldo for not following his order to kill anyone who breaks into the secret jail. Clotaldo brings the two men to the palace in Warsaw. He locks Segismundo in his cell and puts chains on him. Back at the house, Astolfo sees his cousin Estrella walk in with her servants. Astolfo and Estrella are the nephew and niece of King Basilio. Their moms were his sisters, so they are his nephew and niece. Since the king hasn't had any live children, they both want to be king. Astolfo thinks it might be best for him to marry Estrella, so he compliments her beauty by saying she is queen in his soul. Astolfo tries to flatter Estrella, but she doesn't like it and thinks he's full of deceit and treachery. As horns announce that King Basilio is coming, Estrella points to the pendant hanging around Astolfo's neck. She says that it has a picture of another woman on it. Basilio comes in and gives his sister and nephew lots of love. He says he will treat them evenly in their fight for the crown, but first he has to tell them a secret. The king says that his late wife had a son named Segismundo. According to an astrological prediction, Segismundo would be a monster who would kill his father and cause trouble in Poland. Basilio locked Segismundo up as soon as he was born to protect his country and himself. He did this to see if a wise man can beat the stars. Now, though, Basilio has second thoughts about putting his son in jail and denying Poland its true prince, so he has chosen to set Segismundo free for a while. Basilio thinks that Segismundo might not be as bad as he seems, or that he might be able to fight his violent habits on his own. After Astolfo and Estrella leave, Clotaldo shows up with Rosara and Clarn at the house and asks to talk to the king. He starts to tell Basilio that the people he found breaking the rules at the secret jail were not killed, but Basilio stops him. Basilio says that he has already told the secret, so there is no need to kill the strangers. Clotaldo is happy because he won't have to tell Basilio that the stranger is his son. Clotaldo comes into the house later and tells Basilio that his directions have been carried out. Clotaldo gave Segismundo a medicine made of opium, poppy, and henbane. When Segismundo fell into a deep sleep that looked like death, Clotaldo took him to the palace and put him in Basilio's bed. Clotaldo says that he wants to know why Basilio wants Segismundo there in such a bad way after all these years. Basilio says he wants to see if he can, so to speak, change the stars. Or at least try to find out if the prediction was wrong. He wants to know if Segismundo can change the way he acts. If not, he will immediately send him back to jail. Segismundo is brought to the palace while he is sleeping so that they can tell him it was all a dream if the prophecy turns out to be true and they have to send him back to prison. Basilio says that if that happens, Segismundo will be locked up as punishment, not just for safety. Basilio tells Clotaldo to tell Segismundo that he is the Prince of Poland as he hears a very confused Segismundo coming toward them. Basilio then sneaks out of the room. Segismundo walks in. Even though he knows he's awake, he still feels like he's in a dream. Clotaldo asks Segismundo right away if he can kiss his hand, which makes Segismundo even more confused. He asks why his jailer, who is always mean to him, wants to kiss his hand now. Clotaldo tells Segismundo that he is actually the Crown Prince of Poland and that he has been locked up all this time because a prophecy said he would only bring his people pain and ruin. Segismundo is really angry. How could Clotaldo be so mean to his prince? Segismundo says he will kill Clotaldo by himself and throws a servant off a window. Clotaldo begs Segismundo to behave and tells him that he is just thinking, but Segismundo can't be calmed. Clotaldo's life is saved by Astolfo, and Segismundo dares him to a fight. When King Basilio comes to see what's going on, Segismundo attacks him orally for putting him in the secret jail. He says that his father is a tyrant who has taken away his freedom and liberty, and both Basilio and Segismundo tell him that he is just dreaming. Estrella goes up to Rosara, who she knows is her lady-in-waiting Estrella, and asks her to get the ring from Astolfo. Estrella doesn't want to talk to Astolfo ever again, but she won't give him the painting. Rosara is sad when Estrella goes. Now that Clotaldo knows Rosara is his daughter, he has told her not to tell anyone who she really is. Astolfo walks in and immediately realizes that Rosara is the woman he fell in love with in Moscow. She tells him her name is Astrea and tells him she wants the painting so she can give it to Estrella. Astolfo says no and tells Rosara that the picture is of her. When Estrella walks in, Rosara quickly lies and tells her that the picture Astolfo is holding is hers. Rosara says that she had brought her own, and when she stopped to look at it, Astolfo took it and won't give it back. Estrella takes the picture and agrees that it's definitely a picture of Astrea. She then asks to see the picture on the pendant. Astolfo says no again. "Damn you, Rosara," he shouts as Segismundo, dressed in animal skins and sound asleep, is brought through the room. Back at the secret jail, the peasants rise up and storm Segismundo's cell to free their true prince. They say they won't accept a king from another country and plan to rebel. Segismundo thinks he is dreaming again, but he chooses to go along with the plan and show that the promise is true. He will fight his father to take the power that should be his. When Clotaldo finds out that Segismundo has been let out of prison, he falls at his feet and begs for forgiveness. Segismundo, on the other hand, saves Clotaldo's life by thanking him for taking care of him over the years. He promises Clotaldo his dedication and says that doing good things, even in dreams, is never a waste of time. Clotaldo thanks Segismundo for being kind, but he says he can't fight against the king because he swore allegiance to him. Segismundo gets it, so he lets Clotaldo go and tells him they'll see each other on the battlefield. Rosara asks Clotaldo to help her get back at Astolfo at the house in Warsaw. Rosara says that it is Clotaldo's job as her father to protect her honor. Astolfo stole Rosara's title in Muscovy and left her there so he could go to Poland and marry Estrella. The only way to make things right is to kill him. Clotaldo says no. Even though Astolfo hurt Rosara, Segismundo can't kill him now because Astolfo saved his life when Segismundo tried to kill him. She is so angry that she calls Clotaldo her father in a curse. Clotaldo and Rosara leave the room, and Segismundo and his armed men walk in. Rosara suddenly comes back in, this time wearing a long tunic and carrying her sword. She promises to be faithful to Segismundo and tells him once more how Astolfo stole her honor. She begs Segismundo to help her get her respect back, but he doesn't respond. Rosara is angry that Segismundo is ignoring her, but he tells her that he will protect her honor by doing things, not just by saying things. The sound of drums lets Clotaldo and Basilio know that Segismundo's men have taken the castle. Clotaldo and Basilio come in and give themselves up to Segismundo. Basilio is kneeling at his son's feet when Segismundo tells him to stand up. Segismundo says that he will still respect him, and he accepts him as his father and king. Basilio is pleased by Segismundo's kindness, and since he has shown that the forecast was wrong, he makes Segismundo king right away. Segismundo's first order of business is to tell Astolfo to marry Rosara and bring back her honor. He then takes Estrella as his own queen. Segismundo is finally happy, but he is afraid that he will wake up in jail. Even still, Segismundo comes to the conclusion that it will be satisfactory for him to wake up in jail after such a happy day, since all human happiness, in the end, passes by like a dream.
About the author. Calderon was born into an upper-middle-class family in Madrid, Spain, in the year 1600. His mother died when he was only 10, and his father, a member of the Spanish nobility and secretary to the budget, died when he was 15. Calderon went to school at the Jesuit College in Madrid. He then went to the University of Salamanca, which is west of Madrid, to study law. Calderon served in the Spanish army in Italy from 1625 to 1635. In 1636, Philip IV, King of Spain and Portugal, made him a knight in the Holy and Military Order of Santiago. In the late 1640s, Calderon had a son named Pedro José. However, the boy's mother died soon after giving birth. Calderon then gave the baby to his brother to care for before becoming a priest. Calderon wrote a lot over the course of his life, and most people agree that he was one of the best writers of the Spanish Golden Age. This was a time when art was more popular and Spain was becoming a major power in Europe. Calderon started writing poems, and he won a number of prizes in Madrid. Then he started writing plays. By the time he was 40, Calderon had written over 70 plays, including Life is a Dream, The Phantom Lady, and The Mayor of Zalamea. He wrote both religious and profane plays, and in 1660, he wrote an opera called Celosan del Ermiton, which means jealousy, even when it has no reason, still kills. Most people know Calderon for his complicated stories, deep characters, and beautiful language. He was a devout Christian, and his plays often teach moral values and teach people how to be good people. Calderon wrote his last play in 1680, and he died at the age of 81.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.